The air in the luxurious boardroom was thick with failure. Mr. Harrington watched in horror as his multi-million-dollar dream with Sheikh al-Jabari evaporated into a void of disappointed silence. Desperate to save face, his lead architect, David, turned his cruel gaze to the elderly black janitor, Samuel, who was silently cleaning a window. With a sneer that cut deeper than any blade, David suggested the man who built skyscrapers in his mind was only fit to design a garden shed. As the room filled with the ugly sound of nervous laughter, Samuel's worn hands tightened around his cloth. And from the doorway, his grandson Marcus watched, his calm eyes holding a secret that was about to shatter their entire world. For 20 years, Samuel had been a ghost in the machine of Harrington developments. His world was one of pre-dawn arrivals and silent departures, defined by the scent of polish and the whisper of his cart's wheels on polished marble. He moved through the gleaming halls and glass-walled offices as a phantom, his presence noted only by the absence of dust, his existence an unspoken agreement with the powerful men whose trash he emptied and whose windows he made spotless. They saw the uniform, not the man, a simple janitor, a fixture as functional and unremarkable as the furniture he maintained. But this invisible life was a carefully constructed facade. When the final door locked behind him each evening, he returned to a small, warmly lit apartment that told a different story. Here, the walls were not bare. They were a tapestry of dreams, plastered with intricate architectural sketches, soaring towers, elegant bridges, and buildings that curved like living things. These were Samuel's secret heart, the unspoken language of a talent born decades ago but stifled by the closed doors of his youth, a brilliant dream deferred by a world that never thought to look for it in a man like him. His grandson, Marcus, was the keeper of this secret. A sharp architecture student himself, he didn't just see his grandfather's drawings as nostalgic artifacts. He saw the untamed genius within them. While Marcus learned modern software and theory in lecture halls, his real education happened at that kitchen table, deciphering the soul of design from Samuel's fluid pencil strokes. Together, they had begun a quiet project, with Marcus digitally refining and modeling his grandfather's visions, building a portfolio of breathtaking work hidden from a world that believed it didn't exist. They were two halves of a single, silent ambition, waiting for a crack in the wall that separated their hidden world from the one that refused to see them. The room, already cold with tension, froze solid. The Sheikh's translator finally broke the silence, his voice polite but firm, translating his employer's profound disappointment. The Sheikh had envisioned a landmark, a fusion of modern ambition and the soul of traditional Arabic design, with its intricate geometry and respect for heritage. David's presentation, a sterile glass box, was an insult to that vision, a generic solution that ignored the very identity of the client. The failure was now undeniable, and David's ego began to fracture under the weight of his own exposure. Seeing Marcus standing in the doorway, a new target presented itself. David's voice dripped with contempt as he turned his ridicule from the grandfather to the grandson, mocking his presence and reducing him to an errand boy. But Marcus did not flinch. He stood his ground with a calm that seemed to unnerve the arrogant architect even more. He stated simply that he was there for his grandfather, a declaration of loyalty that seemed to amuse the desperate man. Feeling the last shreds of the deal slipping away and needing to reassert his dominance, David made a catastrophic miscalculation. His eyes swept over Samuel, then back to Marcus, and he issued a flippant, arrogant challenge. He bet the elderly janitor, a man he considered beneath notice, could not possibly sketch a single concept more appealing than his own team's work. He escalated the bet from a cruel joke to a professional suicide pact, grandly offering his own job and his year-end bonus as the prize. The room, filled with nervous executives, erupted in a wave of uncomfortable laughter, louder this time, feeding on the sheer absurdity of the proposition. The idea was a punchline, a momentary relief from the tension of a dying deal. Under the weight of that laughter, Samuel's shoulders slumped, his gaze falling to the floor as if absorbing 6 decades of similar humiliations. It was a posture of defeat that David recognized and relished. But then, Marcus's eyes met his grandfather's. It was not a look of pity or shared shame, but a silent, electric question passing between them. In that charged moment, a lifetime of deferred dreams and secret preparations coalesced into a single, unspoken decision. The joke was over. The reckoning had begun. A profound silence fell as Marcus moved with a purpose that defied the room's tension. He ignored his grandfather and walked directly to the vacant architect's workstation, the very heart of David's domain. As he opened a laptop and connected it to the large screen, a final, dismissive scoff echoed from David, a weak attempt to label the act as childish play. But with a few clicks, Marcus summoned a vision that stole the breath from the room. There, in stunning high resolution, stood a building that was more than a structure, it was a poem in glass and steel. A sleek, modern tower soared upwards, its facade elegantly carved with geometric patterns whispering of ancient Islamic art, its curves mimicking the timeless dunes of the desert. It was the perfect, impossible fusion the Sheikh had desired. Before anyone could find their voice, Marcus delivered the blow that would shatter every assumption in the room. He declared that the masterpiece was not his own. With another click, the screen split, revealing a scan of a decades-old, yellowed sketch, its lines drawn in a familiar, weathered hand. The soul of the magnificent digital tower was right there, born from Samuel's pencil on a simple piece of paper. Marcus had merely been the bridge, using modern tools to give voice to his grandfather's deferred genius. The revelation was a seismic shock. The Sheikh rose to his feet, his eyes wide not just with awe for the design, but with a profound understanding of the story behind it. He crossed the room, bypassing the stunned executives, and stood before Samuel. In a moment of raw, heartfelt connection that transcended language, he acknowledged the true artist. David could only stand paralyzed, his arrogance evaporating, his career crumbling to dust as he stared at the overwhelming evidence of a talent he had been too blind and too cruel to see. The Invisible Man had just redrawn the entire world. The aftermath of that revelation was not merely an acceptance but a complete restructuring of power. The Sheikh, with unwavering conviction, refused to proceed unless Samuel and Marcus were installed as the visionary leaders of the project. For Mr. Harrington, the choice was simple: salvage the multi-million-dollar deal by embracing the truth or go down with the sinking ship of David's arrogance. David was swiftly dismissed, his departure as quiet as the janitor he had mocked, while Harrington announced the creation of a new design initiative named in Samuel's honor, dedicated to finding overlooked talent. The final transformation was both profound and visible. Samuel now sat in the boardroom, not as a specter in blue overalls, but as a respected consultant in a tailored suit. His hands, once calloused from handling mops and cleaning solvents, now traced the lines of blueprints with natural authority, his quiet wisdom guiding the collaborative meetings with the Sheikh's team. He and Marcus worked side by side, a partnership of legacy and innovation, finally turning decades of secret dreams into concrete and steel. The story closes on this powerful image, leaving viewers with a final, resonant thought. They were reminded that the world often makes the critical error of mistaking a person's circumstances for their capacity. True talent is not a product of privilege or position, it is born in the quiet fires of passion and perseverance. And dignity, when it is repeatedly dismissed and trampled upon, does not disappear. It hardens, it strengthens, and ultimately becomes the unshakable foundation upon which the most enduring legacies are built, forever changing the landscape for those who dare to see beyond the uniform.